Hello everybody, this is Battlecats. Today we are playing Towns, which is basically a sandbox game, but you get a bit more control over some things than you do if you were playing, say, Minecraft, which is also a very good game. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to select New Game. They've got different types of maps. I am terrible at the mountains maps. I don't choose it very often. Different types of maps allow you to get more of certain types of resources. So once you get a feel for the game and you've played it more, you can start to realize, okay, I like using this more for this, or this is easier to collect than this. And you can choose your map according to that. I'm going to just do normal map. We won't use buried towns. We'll do that on a different one next time we play. That's one. And there's a bunch of mods you can do. One of the biggest ones that I have found helps people is one made by a guy named Valkyrie, I think. It's the Spawn Townies mod, which can be found on townsmods.net. Now, you can hit spacebar to pause it. When the arrow right there is green, that's how you know it's paused. I'm just going to pause it to explain a couple things real quick. And if you will follow my mouse. Okay, you've got your increase, decrease speed, pause, obviously. This will flatten blocks near your cursor if you go up and down. It puts things in grids. No, that flattens blocks. There's 7 do. Oh, that just flattens near the cursor. That flattens all of them. This will take you up levels. The max you can go, I think it's 12. And you can go down a bunch of levels too. But you have to break into the dungeons and stuff, which is what happens when you start to mine downwards. So I like to go to a corner of the map and just start my town there. I find it's easier to control. Up here, you're going to have your game status, like if it's paused, resumed. You're going to have your battle update stuff here, hero messages. We're going to have combat messages go here. My apologies. And here's like your announcements, like caravans coming to town, stuff like that. This is your heroes. These are people that will come to your town once you have a certain number of people, or if you have a tavern room or a tavern, which is a place to go to eat. The trade caravan thing, you've got to have a market set up in order to do that, and we'll get into where the market is later. He will come periodically. There's different types that carry different types of materials. You've got your soldiers here, which are civilians, like these guys here, that you can turn into soldiers, like the convert to soldier, convert to soldier, convert to soldier. You can assign them specific jobs. You can put them in job groups, which are these. So like if I had this one, this one, this one, this one, you can change the specific jobs that each person can do, or you can just put them in the group and be like, okay, all these people harvest. I tend to just keep my people doing whatever. It makes it easier for me, but whatever is fine for you, you do that. This is your stock panel. You've got your materials, raw food, weapons, armors, utilities, vanity, which is basically the stuff you're going to put throughout your town to make your people happier. You've got all sorts of different things here. Yes, corpses are a part of it. Let's see. Yeah, you can... No, you can't select it there. Yay! Let me back up. Okay. You can also use your WASD keys. S for back, W forward, A side, side. There you go. And let's see. Down here you've got harvest. You're going to use this. Let's find something we can harvest real quick. Here we go. You're going to use this to do this. I'll unlock it right now. That way they can do their job. So that's the harvest key. The chop key is what we're going to use to get trees and stuff. And like you just saw, you can select wider areas to do stuff in. We've got the cut key, which is what you use to do stuff like that. If it's got the little blue box around it, that's how you know it's going to harvest it, or like it's going to cut it or bring it or whatever you want it to do. Dig is what you use for like when you're dealing with dirt and stuff, but you can use the mine key also. Mining's typically kept more for stone and stuff, which you will find a ton of once you break into the lower levels. Till is what you will use to make your farmland so you can grow crops. I find it's easier to start with apples. If you want to do the same action more than once, you have to hold down the shift key while you're doing it, and you can just do it like that. It's really easy. It's a lot simpler. And, if your little bubbles down here, over here, and over here are lit up, that means that menu will stay out while that is lit up. If it goes dim, then after a certain period of time and you go away from it, it'll disappear. Let's see. Let me pause this again real quick. Okay, here we've got our food. In our food, you've got gathering food, the different types of food, animal stuff, you know, milk, eggs, all that. Over here, you're going to have all your basic vegetables, fruits, stuff like that. Wheat is going to be a big one starting off. So if you hold the shift key and you hit up on that, the minimum stock you'll have is going to be 5. Each time you hit while you're holding down the shift key, each time you hit that up arrow, it's going to add 5 more. If you hit the control key, it will add 100 more, and it will decrease as such as you go. Once your game is on pause, it will start to gather that itself. In order for you to be able to make flour, you have to have wheat. So it's very important to make sure that you do have wheat on hand, and try not to have your flour production over the number of wheat that you have. As far as apples, we're looking for a lot of those right now, so I'm going to go ahead and do this because that's what I'm going to be planting over here. So let me close this section out. Butchering, you have all your different types of meats, bones, that's from when animals and stuff pass away, you can go get their bones. Snout snake, raw pork, raw steak, raw poultry, badger meat. Baking, this is where you're going to bake all your baked goods, pretty self-explanatory. The ones that require pie, like that, or not that require pie, but that require fruit, you're going to need to make sure you have some of the fruit on hand as well. Cooking, this is where you're going to have all your big ticket food items. Like this guy right here, cactus soup, you see right, it says it cooks for a filling of 100 and the eat time is 80. The most effective one, I think, is the roast, which is 150 versus an eat time of 120. You need a piece of raw steak, a piece of raw poultry, and a piece of raw pork in order to do this. And you also need different utilities, which I will show you in a moment. This is our utility bar. Oh, I can't see all of them because of this camera. Hold on, I'm going to get rid of my camera real quick so I can make sure that I can explain this properly. So one moment, let me see what hotkey is that. Okay. Alright, so like I said before, over here we've got all our different options of things we can build. These are all our different types of walls, roofs, wooden walls. These are going to be great for getting up into places like if you forget to mine a block but you've mined everything under it, you just make a stack of those. They go away by themselves after a certain amount of time. Log walls, different types of log walls, roofs, different types of roofs, different colors of roofs. If you're going to have different colors of roofs, you're going to need to make sure you have the according kind of dye for the roof. Anyway, utilities, stuff like this. You see all these? These are, they will tell you in their description what room they're supposed to be in, what you need to make them, and what the title of it is, what it's used for. That you can do those for all of them. Again, the first couple you're going to use are going to be the carpenter's bench, the wood detailer, and the mason's bench, because you're going to need those to make your baker's table and your baker's oven, which requires stone. So you're going to have to mine, which I will show you how to do in another video. We'll go into more how to do each specific thing. Okay, planting. These are all the different seeds of things you're going to have. You do not have these automatically. They will send you out into the map to do it if you have them collecting a certain amount at a time, which, as I showed you over here, you can set the minimum stock you want and they will make sure you always have that. Now, if you set, like I said before, if you set a minimum stock of flour, you're going to need a minimum stock of wheat. That's just the way it is. But you can plant these, like over here, I'm going to pause that so they can go ahead and get that done. See, roads, different types of roads, paths. They do like decoration, furniture, and stuff. It tends to boost their moods. And you've got doors here, ways to keep things in and out. You can lock the doors to keep them from going to certain areas. We've got decorative here, graves, stuff like that. You're going to need that when people pass away. Otherwise, you get a bad habit of getting zombies or ghosts of heroes past. You have to be able to bury the stuff. What I like to do is I'll make a room out of whatever material I have at the time, and I'll put a bunch of the tombs in there. And I'll end up locking the door so the zombies don't get out if there are zombies. Signs and writable items. Yeah, you know, that's all these. I haven't really explored with these much, which I will eventually. Let's see. Red badgers, blue badgers, they're all badgery stuff. So, for an arena, I guess you can fight badgers. I haven't done that much with that, so I don't know. Containers. You have your raw materials barrel. You have your raw food barrel. Hold on, let me pause this real quick and go ahead and get my apple trees planted. It'll only highlight where it's able to be used. That's a good thing to remember. Was it here? No, we weren't here. Okay, containers. You've got your raw materials barrel, which is where you'll put like your stone and your dirt and stuff like that. Raw food is where you're going to put your wheat, your apples, all that sort of stuff. tool chest, that's where you're going to put your hammers, everything like that, which you can make over on the other side. Prepared food barrel, bread, stuff like that. Anything that you've cooked, you'll put there. Hold on one moment. They're not wanting to move, so let me go through here. Yeah, it would be food. Okay, gather apples. Gonna have to harvest. Okay, so I'm gonna hit 1, which as you see up here will bring up the gather harvest thing. Let's go hunting for apple trees. Oh look, apple trees, a bunch of trees. Okay, we're gonna do this, harvest. See, and all those? It's gonna send them to go harvest those now. So they will have something to plant and have something to eat. So while they're doing that, we're gonna be over here. Okay, so armor cabinet. Eventually you will get where you need to make armor. You need to make something for your people to be able to have some kind of defense with, because there are enemies in this world. Some take the form of trees, some are pigmen, kind of. I'm not really sure what they technically call them. Weapons cabinets, pretty self-explanatory again. That's where you put your weapons. These are different farms you have. What you will do is you'll put them down. You can enclose them. You don't have to. The animals will just wander if you don't. And you need to set up people that will farm the wheat for them and feed them, otherwise they will die. On the plus side, you'll have a bunch of animals. On the bad side, you may end up with a whole ton of bones if you don't do it properly. I haven't really done anything with the mine shaft, but I will explore that later. Terraforming. This is relatively new since the last time I played. And if you're an experienced player, you'll be able to tell how long ago that's been. See, stuff like this. Grass, you can put stuff underground and grow stuff underground now. Stone, sand. Oh, and where it says fluid blocker, it keeps water from flowing through it. Jungle is awesome, especially if you want to have like bananas and stuff growing closer to you. There are certain seeds that will only grow on certain types of grass. See, hummus on grass, hummus on jungle. This will only grow on jungle. This will grow on hummus on grass. Like, there's ones that are very specific to certain things. So that's that for that menu. Let's see. Through here. Did I do cooking? Yes, we did cooking. Utilities. Tongs, torches, all that stuff. This is stuff you're going to need to be able to craft certain things or to cook certain things. See, this is vanity if you want your people to wear hats or have some kind of decoration. These are going to be all your different types of armor. They're all different materials. So as you would get these different materials, you can do your different types of armor. And then again, same thing with your wooden weapons. Let's see, back. Alright, containers, you can set the minimum stock of containers you want. Burner, minimum amount of things you want burned. And this is a citizen spawner. This is the thing that, I can't remember if I mentioned it before or not. It's a mod on townsmod.net by a guy named Valkyrie. It's either Red Valkyrie or Valkyrie. Maybe Red Valkyrie. But same thing with minimum supply stuff. If you hit a key, that's how far down it'll go. So I can't do that very much because otherwise it'll automatically start making people and there'll be way too many people. Do not make more people than you are prepared to feed. That is very important. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, this is the harvest. Chop key, you're going to use that for trees. Cut key, you can use that for flowers or bushes. Digging for mud and stuff. Mining for stone. Tilling for stuff like this. Stockpiles. This will show you how much of certain things that you have. But you can also go up here, and I think this helps because it's everything right there. But if you want to do it on a smaller scale, hit stockpiles. I don't think that's correct, is it? I don't know. I'll have to look at that. I think I may have just misinformed you. These are all your different types of rooms. So let me put down some of those actually because it's fairly important. So we'll put carpentry right here. You do not need big rooms to start out with. You're welcome to delete the rooms later and recreate them somewhere else. Let's go ahead and restart them back up. Okay, as far as the rooms go, you're going to need this one for baking stuff. That's where you're going to need for your people to eat, your regular people. Forge, that's where you're going to make like the metal items. Personal room, that's where your people are going to sleep. Let's actually get some of those down now because they like having rooms to sleep in. See, and after you make a room, if you have a person for it, it will automatically put their name to it. So they'll know, hey, this is where I sleep. This is my space. My space. Let's see. Do 9. We're probably going to want to... Should we chop those or do we harvest those? I think we have to harvest those. Alright, we harvest those. Chop that. Just because I don't like things interfering with what I'm working on. So it's easier for me to just go through and get rid of them. Alright, so like I was saying, kitchen, this is where you're going to need this to make your meat-based items. Hospital, that's where you can send people to go get healed up after they've gotten in a fight with something. Right here, atelier, that's where you're going to go to make your clothes. Did not mean to click that. The arena, that's where you're going to fight the badgers. Balcony, haven't done anything with that yet. Tavern, you need the tavern if you're going to have heroes, because that's the only place they will eat. Tavern rooms, you're going to need those if you're going to have heroes, because that's the only place they will sleep. The market, let's go ahead and put one of those down because it's pretty necessary. Now you see up at the top we have 76 gold. When you buy things from the merchant, it will take the gold away from here, but when you're buying things from him, if you're not buying more than he has, like if he has a lot more gold than you and you sell him enough for him to give you all of his gold, that's where it'll tally up. It'll go up there. Let's see, and the barracks, you're going to have that if you need soldiers, which you should probably do at some point because you need to defend yourself. Alright, well, that is the basics of towns. I do hope everybody enjoyed it, and I will upload this shortly so I can share it with the world. Thank you very much, and I hope you find this on the internet.